A Canada MP is offering how the nation decriminalize fee for female who select to be surrogates. As world consumer demand for Canada surrogates grows, is commercializing the experience the reply? Leah Swanberg is the just man always to be pursued by a Canada law how prevents fee for surrogate motherhood and framework the activities of surrogate motherhood agencies. A couple-time substitute herself, the fruitfulness agent proprietor and her business walked off in a combination 60,000 Cordobas, $46,000, 35,000 pounds, penalty in 2014. My office space creature rated, my building creature rated, you aware it was a slight superfluous, it was a slight bust, she says. The fines acquired by Ms. Swanberg, who pleaded those guilty to procurement eggs, profitable surrogates, and take cash to organize surrogacies, could include bin worst. Break the Fed law could indicate prison period, a penalty of up to $500,000, or both of. Surrogate motherhood is legislative in Canada but profitable a substitute is no. Canada female who propose to conduct who else's kid are unselfish surrogates and can just be uncompensated for associated of-pocket cost. Egg and semen donors as well are not uncompensated, and Canada now imports 95% of semen utilized by fruitfulness clinics. Agencies can't matchstick surrogates in alleged parents but can propose aid and referrals. The 1 week, a Fed permissive MP entered a individual terms draft how could changing how. Anthony House fathers offered law would decriminalize fee for surrogate motherhood, as for egg and semen grant. Down there is no order in Canada to include a kid, the political figure said journalists on Tuesday, yet down there is a order to freedom. Critics of the present law say surrogate motherhood should be deliberate a public health, not a penal, question. They say it has unsuccessful in defending the security and rights of such implicated and has inflicted terror and mess due to not clear rules and regulation. If business surrogate motherhood is ultimately permitted in Canada, it would be amongst the few countries in the planet to do so. Bulgaria, France, Germany, Italy, Portugal, and Spain forbid surrogate motherhood in all forms. Thailand, Nepal, Mexico, and India include newly prohibited overseas business surrogate motherhood. Business surrogate motherhood is accessible in Russia, Georgia, Ukraine, and Iran and in the US, although country laws differ wide. Sally Rhodes Heinrich is the proprietor of Surrogate Motherhood in Canada on the Internet, one of the nation's greatest surrogate motherhood agencies, that helps up to 150 institutional arrangement every year. She says decriminalizing fee for surrogate motherhood is a large move in the order line for an production she believes is ill in requirement of a major repair. These are Canadians hard to build their families, they're not criminals, she says of surrogates and alleged parents. Ms. Rhodes Heinrich wants to see a license and controlled production how giving legislative clearness for consultants, surrogates, donors, and parents. She believes how enabling reimbursement would as well growth the quantity of female readily to conduct who else's kid. Several of the top candidates for surrogate motherhood who attitude her agent select not to go front in it since of absence of fee, she says. Down there are a lot of embryos, thousands of embryos, tens of thousands of embryos saved through Canada how are never departure to be next Canadians since of this present act, she says. Ms. Rhodes Heinrich as well believes enabling for reimbursement will discourage several overseas couples looking to Canada who she says occasionally see the nation's surrogates as complimentary and inexpensive. She would as well love to see agencies license. Stylist and cab drivers include license and we dong tea, she says. Or we're creation babies and families. Latter statistic on the production are deficient, but in 2014 fruitfulness clinics transferred out 440 to vitro fertilization cycles on surrogates in Canada. House dual the quantity of 2008. Canada is a famous purpose for world surrogate motherhood, and consultants say they include seen consumer demand increase. The nation giving a quantity of benefits for overseas couples concerned in crucifix border infant making. Surrogate motherhood can price tens of thousands of dollars less than in Canada rather than in the US, since alleged parents are just compensatory the substitute for cost and aren't saddled in the identical care billing. In Canada, the great bulk of the care expenses are paid for by the Versatile Health Framework. Factoring services in care, legislative and agent charges, estimates propose surrogate motherhood in the US can price above $120,000, £90,500, compared to on $70,000 in Canada. Canada is as well hospitable to identical sex couples or solitary human beings who vision of paternity. Babies unborn to Canada surrogates automatic get nationality. Down there is wide treaty how Canada is necessary to do more than to govern the production, but not everyone is on executive board in a commercialized framework. Mr. Housefather says his draft would enable provinces to govern the production as they see fitting, with public health matters dropped by their jurisdictional time. Individual terms billing really seldom be act, Maine Secretary Justin Trudeau newly told it is period for Canadians to include a talk on the question. Ms. Swanberg has been helped Mr. Housefather haul his comrade MPs to supporting his offered law. The law doesn't explain particular cost surrogates are permitted to complaint. As human beings be parents he's such a sensitive location to be in. So to add how penal measurement to it, I trust is very out of link, she says. She says agencies love her, that work in a gray region already, would greet more than clearness about which they can and can't do. I believe down there's a superior way to pattern support industry during the production, support business community how our help human beings include families, Ms. Swanberg says.